Hello. I'm Patrick, and I'm really excited about this video. The reason I'm so excited about this video is because this is the very first video I'm launching for my new brand, Code That Converts. Code That Converts is all about helping Shopify merchants like yourself create better user experiences on your Shopify store so that when your customers are using your store, they have an easier time navigating through the store. They're able to discover new products you have listed, and inevitably, they will add stuff to their cart and buy it. Because that's the point, that's the reason we're all here, right? You want people to buy your stuff. Now, with that in mind, the very first topic I wanted to talk about is how you can edit the theme code of your Shopify theme. Now, I've worked with a few Shopify merchants and even had the opportunity to work with a Shopify Plus merchant that does millions of dollars in sales per year. And one thing I've noticed is that irregardless of what merchant I'm working with, there always comes a need to edit the theme code of a Shopify theme. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, I thought the whole point of Shopify was so that I don't have to touch the code myself. And you're right, that is the point. Shopify themes come with lots of features baked into the theme that allows you to customize and design your store to be the way you want it to be. But the issue with doing that is that eventually there always comes a need to touch the theme code itself. Now, I'm going to assume that you're a Shopify merchant that's just starting out your Shopify store, and if you are, you're probably using a free theme right now, like the Dawn theme. A lot of Shopify merchants starting out, they're not making any money yet and don't have any money to invest in a paid theme or to invest in Shopify apps that would allow them to have more control over how certain features work in your store. Now, if that sounds like you, then this video was made exactly for you. I want to help you to make small and minor customizations to your Shopify theme. The kind of thing that's simple and that you don't really need a developer to come in and help you with. For example, one thing that I think is a simple customization is adding a script tag to your Shopify theme. Now, if you use any marketing tools like Google Tag Manager or Klaviyo, oftentimes you're given a script to add to your website. This script can easily be added to a Shopify theme if you know what you're doing. And that's something that I would consider to be a small customization. I'm going to be showing you how to make that small customization as well as a few others just to help you get started. Now, knowing how to do this is going to be very useful for you if you want to make use of a tool that does not have a Shopify app integration. And also, learning how to do this is going to help you to limit the amount of apps that you need to use for very simple things. This is important because the more apps you add to your Shopify store, the higher chance you have of negatively impacting your store's performance. So, now that we know what we're all going to be doing, let us get started. The Code That Converts test store. I'm on the home page. If I hop over to online store, it brings me to the themes, and you can see I am using the Dawn theme. The Dawn theme is a theme that will come pre-installed when you first create your Shopify account, and it's an incredible theme made by the Shopify theme development team. It's very performant, and it's a great place to start for your Shopify store, especially if you don't have the money to purchase a paid theme. So if I preview the Dawn theme, this is what it looks like with a fresh install before I start listing any products. Alright, so before we customize something here, I'm going to show you something that's very important. Now, regardless of whether you're a developer watching this, you're a merchant, whatever, this is very important. Please pay attention to this. So you can see that the Dawn theme is the live theme that I currently have, right? If I click this button right here, it's going to give me the option to duplicate the theme. Very important. If you are going to work on editing the code in your Shopify theme, please have a duplicate of the original theme ready. You press duplicate the theme. It's going to create a copy of the Dawn theme. You never want to work on the live theme that you currently have in your store. What you're going to do is you're going to duplicate it just like I did, and you are going to work inside of the copy. So as you can see, I can preview the copy of the theme, and down here it tells me previewing copy of Dawn. So you never want to work on the live theme, like I said. And just to be safe, you might want to rename the theme something like, I don't know, Dawn Theme Edits. This is a horrible name. But whatever it is you're about to edit in the theme, you could just change the name of the theme to that thing so that you know what it is you're working on. Like, one of the things I'm going to show you how to edit is the footer in the bottom of the theme that says powered by Shopify. So I guess I could call this Dawn Edit Footer or something. And remember, the reason why I'm doing this is so that I don't accidentally work in our live theme. You never want to work on your live theme. And I know I said it a few times, but it's so important. You never want to work in your live theme. All right. So now that I got that squared away, like I said, I'm going to make a duplicate, and we're going to be working on this duplicate. So first, I think I'm going to show you how to edit the text in the footer, maybe even show you how to edit the color of the text in the footer. And then we're going to move on to another example in which I will add a script to my theme. Let's say, for example, like I said, if you wanted to add a marketing tool or an app to your store, usually you're going to have to take a script file or a script tag that the app or tool provides for you and put it somewhere in the code of your theme. That's a pretty simple thing that a lot of merchants will end up having to do. So I'm going to show you that as well. And I think I'll also show you something a little more advanced in which you can hide something from being shown on certain screens. All right, so let's get into that first example. So I'm going to hop back over to the preview that I have open. You can see code that converts test store. I scroll to the bottom. I'll see at the bottom 2022 code that converts test store powered by Shopify. There are a lot of merchants that want to get rid of that powered by Shopify mention. So let us do that. Let's hop back over here. Let us click these three little dots, this button over here, next to the theme we would like to edit. This is the duplicate we just made. I'm going to go to edit code. Now it brings you to a code editor that Shopify allows for you to use. Now if you were a developer, the code editor you would use would look very different, but this code editor was meant for merchants to make small changes. So there are a bunch of different folders here. There's a layout folder, a templates folder, sections folder, snippets, config, assets, and locales. Now, in order to find our footer, a footer is actually a Shopify section. So we're going to click on sections, and we're going to scroll through the list of sections. Let me just move myself. Scroll through the list of sections until you find the footer, which is right here, footer.liquid. We click on it, and we have a 616 lines of code to go through. Now, before you start pulling your hair out, I'm going to show you a really simple way to find things in your Shopify theme. Now, this might not always work depending on what theme you have, what theme you're using, but it's a pretty surefire way to find things. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the top right of your browser. I'm going to assume you're using Chrome, but if you're not, whatever browser you're using, you're going to go to the developer tools. This is something us developers use to find things. We're going to click this icon up here, and we're going to hover over where it says powered by Shopify. This shows us all the code being rendered by the screen. So I see in the powered by Shopify link tag, it has a class of copyright __ content. This class is used to style the text down here. And by style, I mean to give it its looks. As in, you can use styling to control the way something looks on a website. So we have this class. And we're going to go back over to the window that had the code for the footer. And we're going to do Command F if you're on Mac or Control F if you're on Windows. And you're going to paste in the class that you copied, right? And then it brought me right down to where that class is. So I can see there are two different things in my theme that have the copyright __ content appended to it. This first part, I know it's a little confusing, but this first part says shop name, link to, roots URL. I know you don't know what that means, but shop name is probably the name of your shop. And as you can see, code that converts is the name of my shop. So that's what's used to render this link. Right underneath it, we see copyright __ content, powered _by _link. This is the link to Powered by Shopify. So let's say I just decided to get rid of it. And I save. If I refresh, well, I'm previewing the Dawn theme. So let me close the preview and let me preview the live theme instead. Just gonna open that in a new window. I mean, I want to preview the duplicate, not the live theme. I'm previewing the duplicate theme. Now if I scroll to the bottom, oh my God, the Powered by Shopify link is gone. So that's an example of a small customization you can do. Now I understand you don't know what any of this stuff means, but you might have to do a little work on your end just to decipher some things. But once you found exactly what you want to remove, you can easily remove it. Before we move on to the next example, let's say you remove the Powered by Shopify link and you want to change the color of the link that you have down here, right? I don't know. Let's say you want to do something like change the color of it to red or something. Now, to do this, you're going to have to make use of a language on the web called CSS, right? Cascading Style Sheets is what it stands for. So I know a Shopify merchant is not going to know how to do CSS. Of course you won't. So I'm not going to bore you with the specifics of actually finding the folder that controls the CSS assets and then adding a new color. So instead, here is the simple down and dirty way of doing things. Let's say you wanted to just quickly change the color. You're going to do style. And then you'll do color red and then put a semicolon. Let's save that. And let's refresh. As you can see, this is now the color red, right? And you can go back and you can undo it. Now that's a really simple way to make customizations using the HTML style attribute. Now, if you'd like to know more about the different CSS you can use to make very simple customizations, you can just Google it. Let's say you decide to Google, let's see, what's a site that I like for this? CSS basics. Okay, cool. CSS introduction from w3schools.com. Even as a developer, w3schools.com is something that I use and I love to use. So if I go to CSS colors, it'll tell you all about how I do colors. See, this is what I did. Style is equal to color. Well, I didn't call the color tomato, but I used the color red. So yeah, let's try one of these. Let's do style color Dodger blue. Go back to the code and let's add it in. Boom, Dodger blue. Yep, now it's the bottom is Dodger blue. So if you want to get to know more about how the whole color thing works, you want to check out some CSS basics. Now, CSS is one of those things that I think a Shopify merchant could probably pick up relatively easily. It's not rocket science. It's not even an actual programming language, so there's no logic or anything involved. So if you want to dive deeper into that, you can. But if you wanted to do simple things like change the color, or let's say you wanted to make the text bolder, you would do, what is it? It was font weight. Font weight bold. Now the font weight in the bottom is bolded. Let's say you also wanted everything to be uppercase. You would do text transform uppercase. Let's try that out. Now all the text down here is uppercase. So there's lots of things you can do with this. Now, of course, the footer of the Dawn theme is a little naked. So, but, you know, if you learn how to do these basic customizations, you can add more features to the footer or to anywhere on your site if you want. And you can save on the need to use certain Shopify apps. So let's move on to the second example. Okay, so for the second example, we're going to add a script tag to our Shopify theme code. So, like I said previously, this is really good if you have a marketing tool or app that you would like to use on your store. Like a good example is something like Google Tag Manager or Klaviyo, which is for email marketing. And you would take the script provided by that tool and input it directly into the theme code. Now, I don't actually have a script tag from Google Tag Manager or from Klaviyo, but let's pretend like I have one. So I do have a script that I made myself, a dummy script just to know for sure if something's working. So I'm going to hop back on over to our theme code, and we are going to go into the layouts folder and access a file called theme.liquid. Now, theme.liquid is a file that's loaded on pretty much every page of your Shopify store. It's a layout file. That file is used as a base for everything else. So we're in the theme.liquid file. You see how it says head up here? We're looking for where it says body. So we're going to scroll down. There's lots of stuff in here, but we're going to scroll down until we see, well, it says body right here, but that's not the one we want. We're going to scroll down more until we get to the HTML element for body. You know it's an HTML element because it has these symbols to the left and right of the body text. So we're in the body. We want to load our script at the very bottom. As you can see, there are a few script files in here already being loaded in. We're going to put our script at the bottom of the body tag. So my script is just a JavaScript alert that'll say, congrats, you added something, whenever the page is loaded for the first time. Congrats, you added something. So we've confirmed the script works. Now, as I've said, this is an alert that you're probably not going to want to use on your store anyway because it doesn't serve a real purpose for you. But imagine you have a script from your favorite marketing tool or from some other app. That's a simple way you can add it in. Really simple. As long as you're working in a duplicate, you literally can't mess this up. And look at you. You saved money on a developer because most Shopify merchants will have a developer add that in for them and pay them whatever the developer charges. So look, you just saved money. Good for you. All right, now we're going to move on to the next example. Okay, so let's talk about one more simple example here. I'm inside of the theme customizer for the duplicate theme that I made. If you're familiar with adding blocks and sections to your Shopify theme, you know you can drag and drop different things around if you want. So let's use this image banner, for example. I can drag it around to different spots on the site. And if I wanted to hide it, I can just press this eye icon, right? And it's gone. So You can hide things that you're allowed to drag and drop, but as far as the footer is concerned, because that's what the example we were talking about, you don't have the option to hide the text in the footer from showing up. So let's go do that. Let's hop back over to our theme code. Let's find the footer again. Cool. This is the footer down here. This div element that you see is what encapsulates this, the copyright icon, the 2022, as well as the store name and the Powered by Shopify name with their accompanying links. So let's say we wanted to hide all of it, right? There's two options we can do. If I'm keeping this really simple, let's say you wanted to hide it completely. There is a CSS property called display, and you can set it to none. You do this, you save it, that text will be gone. Let's reload. That text is gone now. Okay, now let's say we wanted to hide it, but we only want to hide it on phone screens, right? That's going to modify our approach a little bit. Now this is a bit advanced, so I don't expect for regular Shopify merchants to be able to do this kind of thing, but this is something you can do if you're familiar with CSS. Now, you have two options. You can either find the CSS file inside of your assets folder that controls the footer, or you can add your own if you want. But if you don't want to be bothered with doing all of that stuff, and you just want to add it into the file you're currently working on, you can do that as well. So inside of footer.liquid, we can scroll to the top where it says style, right? So this is a style tag that Shopify creates for us with their liquid templating language. So they already have some CSS going on in here. So I can add the CSS we're doing right here. So right here, you see it says at media screen and min width 750 pixels. What this means is that screens a minimum width of 750 pixels and up. What that means is that's like tablet screens. Anything that's a tablet screen and bigger than a tablet screen, like desktop or laptop screens. But let's say we wanted to hide the copyright from showing up on phone screens. We could do something like this. At media screen and max width 381 pixels. That's about the size of a standard phone screen. Now there are some phone screens that are like 400 pixels, maybe even some that are near 500, but in general, a lot of phone screens are at 381 pixels. And then you can come up here, and let's say we have the class of the thing we want to hide, footer copyright, and we say display none. Now just to remind you, this footer copyright points to the container that contains the link and name to our shop, as well as the Powered by Shopify link. So let's check it out. As you can see, on a regular desktop screen, it's there. If I go to a phone screen, it is not. So that about covers this last example. So that about does it for all the examples that I wanted to show you about how you can edit the theme code yourself. So just to reiterate what we did, I showed you how to add a script tag to your theme.liquid file. That'll be useful if you want to add some kind of tool or app to your Shopify store and there's no app integration for that tool. I also showed you how you can remove the Powered by Shopify link in the footer of your store, as well as how you can hide this whole footer section in general. And if you were to go in to w3schools.com or to any like developer resource and learn some basic HTML and CSS, you can do lots more customizations by yourself, and it's not rocket science. Like, let's say, for example, you can change the link down here completely and have it link anywhere you want it to link to, for example. Now, the whole purpose behind Shopify themes are to allow for you to customize a lot of stuff in here in your store without even having to code. But I understand merchants at the beginning of their journey won't have the money to invest in tools like this yet and want to make some small, quick customizations, and that's what this video is all about. So I've showed you how to make some customizations. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and this actually helps you accomplish whatever goal you're trying to accomplish with your store. If you need any help, or if any of it is confusing, please drop me a comment on the video, and I'll help you to the best of my ability if I can. Also, like I mentioned before, if you need to do any custom, like really complex and custom customizations, or if you want to build out completely new features into your theme without having to use an app to do it, you're going to want to hire a Shopify developer to help you with that. Or if you're interested in learning how to code, you might want to go down that route as well. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful. Let me know what you think. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, please. And can't wait to see you on the next one.